all of us were so excited to go on vacation, hunt bears. This was my second time hunting bears, my first time trying to kill one with a recurve. This was Kurt's first time ever on a black bear hunt. You know, he's been all over the world hunting in Canada for black bears. One thing he hasn't got to do yet, so I was really happy I could be a part of that. The first couple of days of the hunt, I spent behind the camera filming him and enjoying my time up in Canada with one of my best friends, filming him trying to kill his first bear.
Heading out on spring 2016. We couldn't be more excited for this trip. This is a trip we look forward to all year long. We're heading up to Mike's Outfitters. We've had good luck in the past, and we can't wait to keep it rolling.
You know, the first day was really exciting. You know, right off the bat, probably an hour into the hunt, we had some commotion going on in the woods. You could hear some huffing from the bears, and then a big sound or two cubs walked in. You know, that was pretty neat to see. I've never seen a sow with her cubs while we were up there. She came in and started just chomping on the food, and unfortunately, Curtis couldn't hold his composure. So as he's watching these bears lick the jelly, I can hear him kind of snickering below me, and my first thought was, you know, I thought he had to call for something, he couldn't contain it. And then he busts out into laughter and they take off. Fortunately enough for us, one of the little cubs climbed up a tree, and when he did that, the mother came back to retrieve him and brought her other one back in. Just went back on to feeding.
sow come in, two cubs. She just left a couple minutes ago. When she got out of here, I really don't feel like getting home by a bear tonight. So, We're gonna see what happens.
Okay, so the second day we had some rain. It kind of postponed things for a little bit, but with our frog togs, you know, our rain gear, we're still able to get out there and set the baits up. Came back in, ate lunch, re-suited up with the frog togs and headed back out to the hunt. You know, we weren't gonna let a little rain stop us from hunting.
Me too. My bow is broke, so I'm hunting the luxurious Chance Horney's bow.
Again, right off the bat, we had another bear come right into that same bait we hunted the night before with the Sow and the 2 cubs. We nicknamed him the Bat Bear. He was a little bit smaller than we wanted to kill, and being the second day and Kurt's the first bear, he was being a little picky, so we went ahead and let that one pass. He hung around for 30, 45 minutes, ate all the bait, and then left. The rest of the night was stale after that. So the third night's where we had a lot of action. We baited 2 new sets the day before and went ahead and picked a set to hunt. There was supposed to be a bear with a 5.5-inch pad roaming that area, which puts him in the range of 500 pounds. So we went ahead and climbed up in that tree. We got set up, got a stand set up that night as we get ready to hunt. Into the hunt, we spotted our first bear and it just closed in the distance on us quick. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was someone spooked him before, if he had saw us without us knowing, we weren't really too sure, but he kind of skirted around us and never came into the bait. We do believe that was a shooter, but again, we didn't get a shot on him. The rest of the night was really action-packed. We had bears all over us. I go from one bear on the bait site to a bear coming in behind us to another bear that was coming across the log that area. There were bears just everywhere. One of them did make it to the bait site that was a shooter for Curtis. Came in and we just milled around for a while. He let it relax. Tried to come in a full draw a couple times and didn't quite get there. And then another bear came in. When those 2 bears saw each other, they took off hunting. I guess bears don't like each other. I'm not too sure. Funny part about that was actually on the way to the bait that day, our outfitter gave us some orange cake icing. I took a turn a little too hard and a little too fast and might have spilled the bucket all over the back of the four-wheeler, the back of myself, everywhere. So there were some dots of orange icing on the back of my four-wheeler. Well, after we climbed out of the tree stand, all the bears left. We got back to the four-wheelers, we're putting all the camera gear and the bows back on the four-wheelers, and I noticed that all the little dots of orange icing were now gone. So not sure what bear that was, but that was pretty freaky to know that while we were in there, a bear was visiting my four-wheeler licking the icing off of it.
Now there's some kind of people from a university or something. They speak pretty fluent French, so it's kind of hard to understand what they were saying. Back by our bait, doing some kind of study, which is kind of scary because that might push all of our bears out. So we're just going to have to play it by ear and see what we see tonight, and hopefully they don't blow everything out of there.
Next bear comes in, he's opting to take now. It comes in, gets to the bait, spooks him, drawing back. Doesn't go far though. So as it goes out of the tree stand and away from the bait, it turns and comes back. He comes into full draw, bear walks to our opening.
But we decided to go ahead and start tracking just because we thought he did hit it, but wasn't positive quite where. We knew it was high. So found a point of impact, took us a while to find some pin drops. We're getting a little bit better blood now. Still not 100% sure how this is going to work out, so we're just going to keep on tracking and see what we can do with it. Show you some blood. Show you some of this better blood we just found. Which is...
So day 5 I had to self-film. An ATV had broke down, so we had to let someone else borrow ATV. Curtis wasn't feeling so hot, so he drove me out to the bait site, and I opted to self-film. I climbed up in this tree stand. I hung my muddy tree arm in there real fast, set the recurve up, and was good to go. Got my camera where I wanted it to be and everything, and started my first traditional hunt for black bears. Now mind you, this is my only second bear hunt ever, so this was pretty cool. So I'm extremely nervous at this point, and this was the bait that we had the sow, their 2 cubs come in, and the one we nicknamed the bat bear. Now I had a little, I guess you could say, crush on the bat bear because it had a nice white patch right here. So I thought that was pretty neat. So that was a bear I kind of thought, okay, if he comes in here, I'll probably shoot him. He's about 150 pounds. He's not a huge bear, but he's not a small bear. It's day 5. I filmed for 4 days. I want to kill one. So it's approaching 9 o'clock. I can hear a 4-wheeler driving, and I kind of assumed, okay, this is Curtis. He's a little early though. Ended up being Justin leaving his bait site that he hunted that night because he had shot a bear. And about that time, I looked over the corner of my eye, and here comes this bear. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have the camera on as it was coming in, and I had to slowly move to get to the tree arm to grab the camera and press record. So that, wasn't the greatest footage when it comes to the whole bear coming in, approaching, giving you a bunch of time to look at him and everything else, but I did get the kill shot, however. I was a little nervous at first hearing the thwack. It sounded like I might have been too far forward. This sounded like it might have been a shoulder shot, which really made me nervous. And I did get down, we found my arrow, and realized I only had between 6 to 8 inches of penetration. The arrow broke off inside the bear. That was just enough, plenty enough to get vitals, but not quite enough to get a full pass-through where I was going to get blood out both sides. So tracking it the next day was a little bit tough. But I killed my first traditional archery bear.
Look, there's blood right there, a claw mark right there.
Now, as far as recoveries go for Curtis and my bear, the night he shot his, I happened to sleep in the next morning on the recovery of his bear. I had the camera and the batteries in my bag, and he wasn't sure where it was, and I guess I was giving him a little bit of a fuss in the morning, so that was never found. We did get some blood that night until the batteries died, so there was tracking it, and there was, marking last blood and everything else. We did have that for you, but we don't actually have finding his bear. The recovery of my bear the following day as well. I just completely forgot the camera myself. I was so amped up to get out there and find the bear. I left it back at camp, and you have an hour-and-a-half ride by 4-wheeler there and back. Well, one way there and then back as well. So, seemed a little senseless to drive all the way back to get the camera.
Starting off the week, we were getting a little worried. We looked at the forecast for the area, and it said rain for most of the week. Anyone that videos or hunts know rain's never a good thing. It was supposed to cool it down, so we brought some blinds, kind of figuring that something like this may happen. We stuck through it. The weather actually got a lot better. Had the bears on their feet. The bear rut was actually kicking off. We had boars looking for sows. It was a pretty eventful week, even with the rain. This year's bear camp is a trip we always look forward to every year. After watching last year's episode, just going over all the footage. My girlfriend was really pumped to go. So we talked about it, figured she was ready to go on her first big game hunt. We shot our bows all summer. I was actually hoping to go down with my recurve after she took her bear. So we both trained hard all year long. It happened out that I wasn't able to actually hunt for myself, which I didn't mind too much. Just seeing her shoot her first big game animal, her first bow kill. This year we saw plenty of bears. We had plenty of action.
Oh my God, babe, you just smoked him. Shh, shh, just sit down, listen, sit down, listen. Shh, shh, just sit down, listen, sit down, listen. You just shot your first bear. You just...
I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
You just shot him. You just smoked him. Good job. I'm so proud of you.
When the shot finally presented herself, Caitlin was able to put a perfect 20-yard shot right through both lungs, clipped the heart. The bear maybe ran 50 yards. It started to do the death moan. That's something that I've always wanted to hear, so I couldn't be more excited to hear that. The rain started to come in. We knew we wanted her dad and her brother to be there for the recovery, so we went back. By the time we got to the cabin and got back, it started to pour. I wasn't too worried about the blood trail, but I knew I wasn't able to get any camera gear into the field. Well, Caitlin wasn't the only one lucky enough to shoot a bear this trip. Her brother was actually also in camp. He was able to take a nice boar. I believe it was 200 plus pounds on the second to last night of the hunt. I was super pumped for him. I scouted him with a butt off. All I wanted them to do was kill a bear, and he was able to take a nice one. We found it the next day. Didn't run maybe 100 yards. I couldn't be more happy for him.
Well, it's the day after the last day of the season. We're just now starting to head in and start taking out stands. We had a fun week. Managed to get 4 bears down in camp.
She said, "Don't worry, baby," when she left me. "You were alright on your own before I came along and made this happy home. And you can take that damned old guitar, pack it up and hit the road. After all, you're probably better off alone." So I grabbed that old guitar and hit the highway. It doesn't take too long to pack when an empty seat holds everything you own. And I found comfort knowing with a moment's notice I could roll. After all, I'm probably better off alone. And the cold wind blows, lightning fills the sky and the thunder rolls. Her memory surrounds me, calls me like a stone, like raindrops on my weather-beaten soul. Well, I was just past Arizona when she called me. Her voice had seemed to change as if it aged